In this week's Parsha, Pinchas, the son of Elazar the Kohen, is rewarded with what's called Hashem's covenant of peace. Peace? For what? What did he do? And at the end of last week's Parsha, he killed somebody for breaking Hashem's law. He stood up for his principles, that's true, but does that have to do with peace? See, people are under the impression very often that to have peace, you need to sort of bend. You need to compromise your feelings. You have to compromise the strictures of your own identity. And that's not necessarily true. I heard a story this week. I asked somebody how their parents became religious. And the person said, well, it all started with a cup of coffee. They had a neighbor who was a religious Jew, and they wanted this neighbor to come over, and this friend wouldn't come over to have a cup of coffee. Why not? Because the dishes weren't kosher, they weren't toveled, maybe the ingredients weren't kosher. The person stood by their principles, and that inspired this family to become religious. Because when people stand for something, when people have a conviction, and they know it's true, and it's not just a personal choice, but they recognize that Hashem commanded them to do it, that's what actually creates peace. What we learn from Pinchas is that standing for your principles, especially when your principles are not just self-taught or self-understood, but these are principles that come down to you from generations and generations of people who've been studying Torah and understanding it. Those principles we don't bend for. And when we stand up for our principles, that's when we'll have real, lasting peace. Have a Shabbat Shalom.